The winds of change are blowing as we see Centurions being one of the most represented decks out of this week. Welcome to the next play breakdown for this week. Make sure you guys smash the and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more content. You know, I'm used to seeing Rescue Ace being one of the highest represented decks basically by the week because, I mean, you have two major variations that just roll through with these. It's, you know, either you're going for the full synchro combo, Rorodon 9000, you know, flying through, or, you know, you're playing the control variant. But the thing is, both builds are hugely successful in the things that they do. And then we have Centurion sitting over here as our other representative here. Both Rescue Ace and Centurion had a 4-4 representation for this week, which is actually a lot more than I'm used to seeing, at least for the Centurion. Now, we also had 3 Minkanko decks over here as well. Minkanko actually won the event, and I'm still perplexed by that. When we talk about deck list here in a little bit, you'll get the chance to see some of the craziness that this build had going for it. And then we had 3 Pendulum Magician variations sitting here as well. You know, the Supreme King stuff with Electromite, with, you know, 3 Pendulum monsters that all give you interaction points to toggle up things from the extra deck, you know, set up these key points. Yeah, you're burning through a lot of resources for sure, but you're setting up your combo lines, which matters a lot. And then we had 2 Runic decks, the most cancerous pile in the OCG Wild West. We also had 2 Purely. The Purely number is really dropping as of late. And then we also have 2 Vanquish Soul back here. Okay, now for our favorite part, the one-up section as we try to decipher. See that we have 1 Punk, 1 Sulfa Cord, 1 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Shaddoll, 1 Alistair. I can't tell what our next ones are, but I do see a Sword Soul, a Salamangreat, an N-Pen, an Unchained, Labyrinth, and Dogmatica. What is up with this? Because this is not the standard meta that I'm used to seeing out here. Purely numbers getting pulverized into the ground. Centurion having a huge spike. These are not the things that we've been seeing up to this point. This is a much different story than a lot of the meta has been letting on to. Remember, this is all pre-Age of Overlord. We're still 3 weeks away from Age of Overlord finally touching down in the OCG. So their meta is adjusting to these wild changes, and especially with Centurion just being King Calamity's turbo out here. Yeah, trust me on this, nobody really likes the thought of that, but it has been one of the consistent decks. Now our top 7, I believe that these are all of our X1s, XOs. It annoys me that they do, you know, not a proper top 8 cut, but okay, so we have 1 of our Rescue Ace Duelist managed to get that's actually pretty sad. You had a 25% conversion rate for both that and Centurion. All right, but both Centurion and Rescue Ace did make it into that top cut. Same thing down here with our Minkanko Duelist. Once again, I mean, they did manage to pull through and win the event. I do see that Vanquish Soul is still sitting at the dinner table here. Honestly, Jiao really does change the way that this deck plays. All right, those consistent play lines, I know, you know, obviously the OCG does have Maxine. It does play for the more appropriate element for this. It's really strong. Alistair the Invoker. Now, last week when we looked at this event, we did see Alistair the Invoker. There was some sort of negate deck that was popping up, you know, with Fleur-de-Lis, the Dogmatica package. It's not exactly something that you're super used to seeing, but that is actually kind of hilarious that you need to be aware that this deck is kind of showing back up, and it is turning heads out here. And then, of course, Unchained, you can thank the TCG for probably inspiring some of the OCG to want to relook at how this deck actually gets the chance to play. And then, of course, our one-of Labyrinth Duelist overcame everything that this event had going for it, as it did jump in here and actually get the chance to join everybody. So that's an amazing diverse top cut. That is 7 different decks. All of your X1s doing phenomenal out here. And, I mean, even Alistair the Invoker is getting some level of representation, even if it's not exactly the best. Now, let's pass on over to this deck list. Our event here was, yes, it is the Equip Power of Mikanko, and yes, they are playing the Pawnyard, or whatever its name is up here. It's from Animation Chronicle, that it searches for an equip card from the deck. Yeah, you are committing a little bit of a summon to it, but that's not an issue whatsoever, because it itself moves to defense position. Yeah, if they do something about it, you are going to take 2,000 life points, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but, I mean, who cares? Like, it's getting you an equip. You are playing Angel Ring, and, of course, we are playing the Xyz Full Armored down here as well, which means you can make the Full Raid Lancer. You can technically make the Doomsday Star if your opponent starts to get a little bit crazy out here as well. So that's a lot. And then, of course, they're doing a mini Scythe package down here in the side deck as well. You know, I really wish that we could do just crazy BS lines of play like that in our builds, but it's probably a good thing that we actually can. This is definitely one of the more interesting decks for sure out of this event. Next up is our Diabell Star deck, and guess what? We're not playing the Auroradon stuff. This is actually going to put you in a pretty interesting mindset for how we could see this deck kind of take place into the TCG here. I mean, you know, if we're looking at the Diabell Star package, we're like, you know, that's a lot of money. You only need 1 Lich, unless the Searcher over here is going to cost a lot of money. We already know that, you know, you have 1 Ultra in terms of things. But if you already picked up the Rescue Ace deck, it's going to be 1 Witch, the 3 Searchers, and then the 1 little other spell card next to Called By down there. Okay, extra deck, I mean, you toss in a Doomsday Star, you're going to need it. I've noticed that a lot of these builds have been citing the additional HQ as well. I mean, there are matchups where you just needed it, especially in, like, the grindier games. That's why the secondary HQ matters all that much. Outside of that, I don't see anything really too crazy here. What else we got back here? Vanquish Soul. This is where we get the Jian Long to actually shine, and it is a 3 of in here. I also see that we are playing 1 copy of the Snow Devil Trap card down here as well. A lot of people told me that card is garbage, but it is seeing some play. We are also focusing on good old Dimension Shifter in here as well. So Shifter is pretty good. See that we are playing Dempsey down here in the extra deck. I love the fact that we do get to see this card actually show up as a more generic option for a lot of these decks. We are side decking Super Polys, so we can make Garua and Mud Dragon. I'm sure the OCG is super happy to finally have Garua so that they can finally abuse it as much as, you know, we were. They just didn't have to deal with it on the crazy lengths that the TCG was abusing it in. It just proves how stupid good that card can actually be. But looking at this, I have not much else to really say. It feels pretty standard, I feel like, at this point. And then, of course, we have a Centurion special where we're actually packing in what looks like, yes, that's Mole Cricket and friends. We're making Naturia cards in this deck. We only play 1 copy of the Sacred Tree. So this is Horus Centurion Naturia. We're making Beast Barkion. We can do Crimson Dragon plays. Maybe the Naturia package was something that we did need to consider adding into this. This is actually the first time that I have seen a version of this actually existing. This is actually really cool, especially having the multitude of play lines that you can do. I mean, you're setting up synchro plays with Centurion for the big monsters, the disruptions through the Naturia, and then you're just using the Horus package to put big level 8s on the field, and then netting, you know, actual advantage off of that. That's actually pretty crazy good. Okay, and I did manage to find the Unchained list out of this event. I was very curious to know how OCG Unchained actually kind of compares to TCG. And of course, I mean, the biggest thing is, it's honestly probably Maxi, because I see they are playing the Dark Contract Gates in here. You can tell that's pretty much, you know, borrowed from the TCG. See that we are playing the Kaiser Colosseums down here as well. Must be nice, setting up one Unchained monster followed by a Kaiser Colosseum lock on the opponent. That would be, we would just do this and call it a day. Like, your opponent's not outplaying you or outskilling you, as we're going to call it. So that's our breakdown out of Next Play's event for today. What do you guys think? Please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.